You are welcome to today's class. Today we want to look at break statement. We are still treating loops, and I want to look at break. After break, we'll now look at continuous statement, and that brings us to the end of loop. You know, our lecture is on manifestation in reality, using programming as a guide. In this class, I'm going to use a biblical example, which is the story of Abraham sacrificing Isaac in Genesis 22. Now, there was a break statement introduced into that script, and that is exactly what I want to explain to you today. So, what do you use break for? Now, like in the case of Abraham, Abraham was given an instruction to sacrifice Isaac, but at the end of the day, he was stopped along the way. He didn't conclude that action. Now, looking at script writing, it is only the developer that knows his intent. And based on that intent, he writes the logic, right? So it was only God who knew what he wanted to test in Abraham. And when he saw that outcome, which was the goal, he had to introduce a break statement. So let's take what Abraham did as an infinite loop. That test of faith was an infinite loop, meaning we don't know what Abraham would do at the end of the day. So it was an infinite loop. But within this infinite loop, a break statement was introduced to say, if this happened, then stop the action. That's what the break statement. So I'm going to write a program to illustrate that, and then we will see the concept of faith. So I'm going to do, before I do that, let me first tell you the syntax for break. So the syntax for break is like this. Let's say we introduce a code block. This is the flowchart. The syntax for break is this, right? So this is the flowchart. So in this flowchart, we do this. So this is condition, right? If the condition is false, so we end. This is start, right? Now, if the condition is false, we do this. If it is true, we come back and we execute this. This is true. So now to introduce the break statement, we will come from here. The moment we experience break, we come out of the loop. So this is break. The moment we experience break, we come out of the loop. So we test the condition. If the condition is true, we go back. But the moment we experience break, we are coming out of the loop. So this is just the flowchart for break. Now I'm going to write a program to demonstrate that assignment of Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. And then you will understand where this break statement was introduced in that program. All right. So let's say we do include stdio.age, right? That is our preprocessor directive. It is in this library that I'm going to pick my printf function. So int main, this is the main function. I'll put my curly bracket. Inside this curly bracket, I'm going to declare a variable and I will name it I. I can call it faith, but I'm going to call it I. So I'm going to declare a variable in the integer realm, I, and then I will assign 0 to it. So that is the beginning. Now, the instruction that was given to Abraham was an open-ended event. We don't know what he's going to do. So we are going to use a while infinite loop. We can use any other loop. So I will say while Now, this is an infinite loop. This condition will always be true. This is 1, not I, 1. This condition will always be true. So he will keep moving. Now, then inside here, I'm going to say, I am putting my break in a condition statement, which is the truth part of the condition statement. If I don't do that, it means this program is never going to run, because once you encounter break, you are going to come out. So I need to write a condition statement and introduce the break in the truth part of that condition statement. So a break is like saying, once you meet your goal, there is no point to continue. End. A loop has several iterations. So once you meet your goal in any of these iterations, there is no point repeating the remaining iteration. You can come out. So I would say if I equals to 10, right? Then I will do this. I will now say break. Because it's just one statement, I might not necessarily put this curly bracket. So I will do this. Then I will say print F. Print F. I will put I percentage D slash N. Then I. That is another statement. Then I will say return. I will increment I plus another statement. Then I will say this. I will end it here. Then I will say return 0. Then this one, I will close it here. Right? So this is my script. I have written the script. I declare the variable I. Right? So the variable I, I'll declare the variable I, and then I will assign 0 to it. Then, while 1, this condition will always be true. So this one is an infinite loop. Right? This is an infinite loop. So while 1, it will always be true. That means once this is true, you go in. Then it will check this statement. If I equals to 10, go in, break. Now I is 0, so it will not go in. It will not go into this if statement. It will come here, print I. So it's going to print I equals to 0, right? That is what to print out on the screen. Then it will increment I. So it will increment I to 1, right? Then it will come in again. Even though it has incremented I to 1, it's not using this one as a condition check to enter into the loop, because this one is 1. So it is an infinite loop. It's everly going to move. So we are considering this, right? We are considering this as the fate. And this step, which is this increment, is the movement of the fate, meaning you are pursuing a goal. So you just keep going. You just keep going. But you don't know when you are going to achieve that goal. Now, when to stop is this divine interference that is introduced inside this place, right? So Abraham was moving. He had the faith and he kept moving. So faith and action, faith led to action. So Abraham was moving, but he never knew when he was going to stop. But he had that belief in that divine intervention. So he kept moving. Now, it will check again. I equals to 0, equals to 10. No. So it will come out and it will print I. So it will print I equals to 1. Then it will increment I. So I will become 2. Then it will come in again, because this is an infinite loop. It will come in again. I equals to 10. No. It will not enter into this break. It will print out this. So it will print out 2. Then it will do that up to I equals to 9. Right? When I is now 9, it will increment I. So I becomes 10. I is now 10. It will come in. If I equals to 10, break. So it will check. I is now equals to 10. It will come in and it will break. So it will not get to this place. It will not get to this one. So I is now equals to 10. It will come into this if statement and it will break. That means it will come out of the loop. So that was what happened to Abraham. As soon as this is faith, this is test. As soon as faith equals to test, right? He came out of that loop. That voice came and instructed him to stop because the intention of the developer was to test the faith of Abraham. But since we don't know his heart, it was an open-ended assignment, an infinite loop. But there was a break condition introduced into it that the moment he gets to this point, stop him. And that was exactly what happened. So this is a program to demonstrate that concept. So even though it is an infinite loop, we can introduce the condition inside it using this break to say this is where you stop when you achieve your goal. Else, this will become an infinite loop. It will just keep running. Right? A loop has three parts: the starting point, the goal that you are trying to achieve, which is the condition, and then the increment, the steps you take to get to that goal. So, but where you are having an infinite loop, you can introduce that condition as a break statement within the true part of an if conditional statement. And that is exactly what happened here. Now, if I didn't put this break inside this if statement, I just wrote break. There is never going to be any movement. Because the moment you enter, you encounter the break and you come out. So you must always introduce your break statement inside the truth part of a conditional statement. That is what I want to show you in this class. So the next class, I'll teach you continue, which is the brother of break or the sister of break, right? So let's go to code blocks. Let me demonstrate this program for you to see the output. This is our code blocks. As usual, this is the program on break. As you can see, included stdio.h, which is our preprocessor. In main, I declared a variable and I initialize it with 0. I assign 0 to it. Then I'm writing my while loop, which is without this break, this is an infinite loop, right? So, but introducing this break, this if condition, then having break inside it, it means once I equals to 10, it is going to break. So printf will print I from 0 to 9, then it will increment, and then. So let's execute this program and let's see what the output will be. Now when I do this, see, it's printing I equals to 0, I equals to 1, up to I equals to 9. So the moment I equals to 10, it will come out of the loop. It's not going to repeat the other iterations. That is the meaning. Now, what if I comment this and I comment this? So this is like just putting the break directly without putting it inside the if statement. What would the output be? It will not give me anything as the output. So let's just execute this and see. So you see, nothing came out. Nothing came out. And it ended. Because the moment you enter this while loop, you will encounter break and it will come out of the loop completely. Nothing like printing out this body of the loop. So that is the meaning. So that's why you have to introduce the break into the true side of an if condition, a conditional statement. So that is what that is. Then what if I comment this and then I comment this? So this is like not having the break, the condition and the break. So what would this loop give me? This would be an infinite loop because it will continue to increase and this will continue to be true. There is no end. So let's execute it and see. See, it's an infinite loop. It's just going to continue running and running and running like this forever. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to end that. So that is what I want to show you in this class how a break statement is used to as a true condition to come out of an infinite loop, which is this final output. So that's what I want to show you in this class. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. So till we see in the next class, bye-bye.